Hello, my name is Ueda, and I'm a professional photographer. Today, I will show you how to live stream on YouTube with a mirrorless camera and introduce you to my recommended camera settings using this Z30 as an example. There are a number of ways to live stream on YouTube, but I will show you two methods that I recommend for those of you who are just getting into live streaming. The first method is to live stream using webcam utility software. The other is to use a capture board. Using the webcam utility is very easy. All you need is a single USB cable and to download the free software. But if you are using a mirrorless camera, the frame size is limited to 1024 by 768. The video is still very good quality compared to what you get with a computer's built-in camera. So I recommend this method for those who want to live stream casually and don't mind if the video is not very high definition. By the way, the webcam utility is also compatible with Zoom and Teams. The software can be used for video conferencing with relatively low latency due to the small frame size. The other method is to use a capture board. Using this method, you can live stream at a frame rate of 60p for smoother video. The frame size will vary with your capture board used. But the capture board I'll be showing you today can be used to stream in full HD at frame sizes of up to 1920 by 1080. I recommend this method for those who want smooth, high-quality live streams. Now, let's dive deeper into each of these methods. When live streaming using the webcam utility, there are some things you will need to prepare first. You'll need 4 things: a computer with the webcam utility installed, a camera, a USB cable, and a tripod. My camera and computer both have Type-C USB connectors, so I need to use a USB cable with Type-C connectors on both ends. The type of connector varies with the camera and computer you are using, so please check what kind of USB cable you will need and prepare a suitable cable. The webcam utility can be downloaded from the Nikon Download Center. Once the webcam utility is installed, you do not need to take any additional steps. Once you connect a compatible camera, the software will automatically detect it. First, mount the camera on the tripod and turn the camera on. Next, in the Setup menu, check to see if USB power delivery is enabled. Keep the battery fully charged, even if USB power delivery is enabled. Doing so will allow you to stream for longer without draining your battery. Once you've verified the USB power delivery setting, turn the camera off for now. Next, connect the camera to the computer using the USB cable. Once the camera and computer are connected, turn the camera on. I will be streaming myself today, so I will position the camera's LCD monitor and lens so they are both facing me. The camera and computer are now ready for streaming. Later on, I will show you some camera settings that I recommend for live streaming. Next, let's take a look at our YouTube settings. Log in to your own YouTube account. Click the Create icon at the top right corner of the dialog. click Go Live. Enter a title and a description for the video. You do not need to enter a description to live stream, but you are required to enter a title and select whether your video is made for kids. For now, I will enter Live Stream Test as my title and select No, it's not made for kids. You can configure various other more advanced settings, but I won't cover those here. When you have finished filling in the form, click Next. You can configure advanced settings in this dialog too. I will skip these today. Click Next. You can configure visibility in this dialog. This stream is a test, so I'll select Unlisted. Enter the date and time you want to release your video. This is a live stream, so there's no need to configure this setting. Click Done. After you click Done, the Stream Preview dialog will be displayed. Select the camera you will use. Today, I'll select Nikon Webcam Utility. Click Go Live to begin the live stream. That's it for live streaming using the webcam utility. Next, I will go over how to live stream using a capture board. First, you need to prepare 6 items: a computer, a camera, an HDMI cable, a capture board, a charging AC adapter, and a tripod. The connectors you will need at the ends of your HDMI cable also depend on the camera and capture board you are using. So please check which type of cable you need first. Today, I will use a cable with an HDMI Type D connector on the camera end. There are a variety of different capture boards available, but for today's explanation, I will use this capture board. Many of you may have never heard of a capture board before, so to briefly explain what it is, it's a device used to input video and audio signals from a camera to a computer. The HDMI ports on computers usually do not allow input. Using this capture board, you can change the HDMI signal to a USB signal and input video from your camera to your computer. When using a capture board, select No Limit for Standby Timer. Using Custom Setting C3, Power Off Delay. Now, plug the capture board into your computer. Next, plug the HDMI cable into the capture board. Plug the cable into the HDMI port on the side of the camera. Then, to supply power to the camera, plug the charging AC adapter connector into the camera. And plug this into an AC power supply. Today, I am using this charging AC adapter, but you can also use a USB-C cable to supply power from the computer to the camera, even when using a capture board. When using a USB cable, before connecting the camera to the computer, make sure that USB power delivery is enabled in the camera's setup menu. Now, I will turn on the camera and aim the LCD monitor toward me. With that, the camera is ready to go. Next, I will cover YouTube settings. Log in to your own YouTube account. Click the Create icon at the top right corner of the dialog. Click Go Live. Enter a title and a description for the video. You do not need to enter a description to live stream, but you are required to enter a title and select whether your video is made for kids. For now, I will enter Live Stream Test as my title and select No, it's not made for kids. You can configure various other more advanced settings, but I won't cover those here. When you have finished filling in the form, click Next. You can configure advanced settings from this dialog too. I will skip these today. Click Next. You can configure visibility in this dialog. This stream is a test, so I'll select Unlisted. Enter the date and time you want to release your video. This is a live stream, so there's no need to configure this setting. Click Done. After you click Done, the Stream Preview dialog will be displayed. Select the camera you'll be using. Verify that the name of the camera you're connecting to is HDMI to U3. When live streaming using a capture board, you can use the camera's built-in microphone. Check that the microphone selection option is also set to HDMI to U3. The camera microphone can now be used. The Z30's microphone offers excellent performance, so you can stream with clear sound. For those of you who have specific preferences regarding sound, an external shotgun microphone like this one, or a lapel microphone can be attached to the camera for clearer sound during live streaming. Click Go Live to begin live streaming. Using a capture board allows for higher frame rates and resolutions, so I recommend this method for those who want to stream high-quality video. That's it for live streaming using a capture board. Now I will show you the camera settings and shooting equipment I recommend for live streaming. First, camera settings. These are the settings I recommend. First, for shooting mode, I recommend Programmed Auto for those who want hassle-free streaming. When you set the camera to Programmed Auto, the camera automatically sets the shutter speed, aperture, and ISO sensitivity to appropriate values. White balance, picture control settings, and exposure compensation can be adjusted as desired. If you want to blur the background while live streaming, I recommend choosing manual mode. I myself often shoot in manual mode. Shooting at wide apertures can give you a lot of background blur, like this. However, when shooting in manual mode, pay attention to your shutter speed, as otherwise the feed may suffer from flicker. You'll need different settings depending on whether you are in East or West Japan. In East Japan, set shutter speed to 1/100, 1/50, and so on. And in West Japan to 1/125, 1/60, and so on. For focus mode, I recommend AFF, full-time AF. With full-time AF selected for focus mode, the camera will automatically adjust focus to match subject motion. There may be people who say that they're bothered by the way the screen flickers, as the camera refocuses frequently to follow erratically moving subjects during full-time AF. And if you're one of them, you can choose a slower autofocus speed using custom setting G3 AF speed. This will reduce on-screen flicker. For AF area mode, I recommend Auto Area AF People. When Auto Area AF People is selected for AF area mode, the camera detects and automatically focuses on people's faces and eyes. The next step is to set white balance. When it comes to white balance, there is no right answer, so it's best to configure the white balance according to your preferences. If you want to capture colors that are similar to those seen by the naked eye, use Auto. If you want to create a slightly different atmosphere, direct sunlight and incandescent are fun options. For picture control, I recommend Portrait if the subject is a person. For regular videos, I often use Flat and perform color correction in post. But for live streaming, I often use Portrait. I recommend Portrait because it captures human skin clearly. Next, my recommended lenses. In general, I recommend lenses with a slightly wider angle of view than the standard. The lens I use most often for live streaming is the 16 to 50 mm kit lens I have here. There may be no way for you to get very far from your camera if you have it on your desk. If that's the case, you can zoom out to the 16 mm position to capture your hands as well as your face. Another lens I recommend is this 28 mm f2.8 lens. Many prime lenses are fast lenses, so you can choose wider apertures for shots with more background blur. Finally, I will show you some filming equipment I recommend for live streams. The first is a tripod. I have a few tripods here, but in most cases, a travel tripod should be fine. It can be folded up small so that you can carry it around, and it can even be placed on a table. It can also be used on the floor with the legs extended. I recommend using a tripod because it helps keep the picture steady and makes it very easy to choose an angle. Next, I want to show you this small lighting device. Even a small device can cast enough light on your subject to make the picture look much better. You can also light the background to create atmosphere and add more depth. What are your thoughts? It's very easy to start live streaming using the methods I've described today. So give it a shot.